Thank you, everybody, for joining us today on the Spy Shack Podcast, where we'll be discussing season 32 of Survivor, Kaoh Rong, Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. And with me today is a guest host, Aaron. Aaron, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm loving the new season already. So far, from the first two episodes that we have, what are your feelings on it?
Just based on two episodes, I think it's good. It's good to see a Survivor season with new people again,
Yeah.
because I particularly enjoyed Cagayan, San Juan del Sur, and Worlds Apart. That whole trilogy, almost of newbie season of the 21 through 30 era there, and just seeing all these new characters is pretty cool. With any luck, it'll stay consistent.
Yeah, I'm loving the new season. Uh, as much as I actually do really like second chances. However, this the past what the from season 20 to season 30, we've had a lot of returning players. We've had a lot of uh, I don't know, just I guess favorites coming back. Whether it's a full All Star season or a fan versus favorite season or Redemption Island, it's something that I'm not a big fan of. I'd rather have either a full out All Star season once every 10 years. I mean, every 10 seasons, or newbie seasons, which is what I prefer.
Yeah, I didn't notice this until some time ago on some Survivor group. Somebody noted that they should do a season without any gimmicks, and that even included the ones with new players. And that we really haven't had a season like that since Samoa
Yeah.
with gimmicks or anything. I mean, what the gimmicks for since Samoa have been old versus young, the whole one world twist, and the brains brawn beauty, and the collars, and it's almost like they need to have that to fall back on. But as long as they're using new contestants, I'm happy.
Yeah. This season, I don't mind it so much, the whole gimmicky thing. Uh, Yeah, but you're right. I wouldn't mind them just going back just to a standard season, even just two tribes with. Although I think sometimes when there's 20 people and two tribes, it kind of gets you don't get a lot of time with some of these people
I
that
agree.
in the early boots.
Yeah,
So how did you like the 90-minute episode for the premiere?
the premiere was pretty good. I think everybody got a confessional. But with that, I think they gave us a pretty good introduction to everybody. We got to hear from everybody at least once, and I don't know.
So
I
this is
would, yeah, I wouldn't say it's it wasn't the best premiere ever, but yeah, it was good.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it. At first, actually, when I was watching it live, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not. But actually, the next day, after I was starting to think about it, I'm like, well, I actually liked it a little bit more than what I thought I was liking it during the initial watch. And so let's go. Just do our initial. We won't do a person by person discussion, but we can do just our initial thoughts of the different tribes. Now, Aaron, do you know what the official tag for the show is? It Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty, or Brawn versus Brains versus Beauty? I've seen it both ways many times.
I think it's brains versus brawn versus beauty.
All right, so let's go ahead and do it that way then. So right off the bat, what did you think of the Brains tribe?
The Brains tribe, or Jeff refuses to call them by their real names until they're swapped. Chan Lo as an interesting bunch, very different from. If comparing it to Kagayan, it's very different from Luzon. Um, the one who I really like the most, and I think has great potential, is Neil. Just to be a character. The one moment that made me literally laugh out loud, and I don't know if I laugh. I'd say on and off I laugh out loud during Survivor if it's a really funny moment, but one very small quote in that first episode when he was talking to Peter and told him to just sort of quiet down because sound waves could carry through the water.
Oh yeah.
That I thought, yeah, this he could be a character here.
Yeah. I like the Brain Stripe. I like Neil. Um, I like his name's I think Peter, right? The one they were calling Obama.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they gave him more to do with the second episode.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling I've seen his pre-show interview. I think he seems like a nice guy, but if he can't get past the comparisons to him, just him looking like Obama, then I don't think he's going to be going anywhere as a character.
Yeah. That it might be one of those things where he just doesn't grow.
Hmm.
So as far as the Brain Stripe, Chanlo, you say you like Neil the best. Who do you like the least?
It's really hard to say. I guess the most obvious answer from I guess from a casual viewer, the audience wouldn't like Debbie because she's a little bit zany, but then again, that makes her good TV. And I didn't notice this the first time I watched it, but other people have noticed it, and well, they got very good eyes there. Whenever Debbie gave a confessional in the first episode, her occupation keeps changing.
Yes, the lower third. Yeah, yeah. I didn't notice it the first time around. It wasn't until later that I saw that. That I actually saw it on Facebook and Twitter that people were saying that because of all the
Mhm.
jobs that she gave, the production decided to go ahead and just have fun.
And the funny thing about her is that I watch all the pre-show interviews, and then I go into a composition book I have, and then just divide each of the contestants into four categories. If I like the pre-show interview, if I thought it was okay, if I was a little bit in between, if I didn't like it. With Debbie, I really liked hers. I was really, really impressed. And then you see her on the show. It's very different. And I was very surprised when, I mean, sort of saw it coming after Jeff was saying in his cast assessment, oh, Debbie's probably going to struggle. And that he could see a Coach sort of vibe, which is weird that he mentions that because I can remember watching Coach's pre-show interview all the way back in Tocantins, and I thought that he was probably the most impressive of the bunch, or one of my favorites at least. I remember really liking his pre-show interview, and then he comes on the show, he's a whole different character.
So in the let's say in Tokachins, you said you liked Coach to begin with. Did you end the season liking him?
Uh, for entertainment, yeah, and he's a good character. He's one of the most entertaining characters in the show's history.
And so far with the two episodes, what do you think about Debbie? Do you still think you'll like her, or you're starting to get tired of her?
So far, I'm okay with her being there. I mean, if they end up going focusing too much on the strategy, they can always fall back on Debbie.
Okay, so is there anybody on there that you for sure thought were gonna dislike and you ended up liking, or did you have kind of a even playing field for all of them?
Yeah, back in my notebook here. So here it is. Yeah, it was pretty even. The only one I'll go with the ones I felt in between and didn't like here. Uh, One of them is from the Brains tribe, Elizabeth or Liz, as they're called. I guess that's going to be her name for the season. Liz, I mean, there was that scene of the dynamics of her and Joe clashing heads, but I don't know. I mean, her pre-show interview just came off as very. She just seems very much of a big fan of the new Survivor seasons, and once you see in her profile that she cites that she's a lot like Parvati, I don't know where this is gonna go, but I want to like her. Is anybody else on that tribe? No, not really. On the Brains tribe, I mean, everybody else is okay.
Yeah, there's nobody here that I thought that I was not gonna like. As far as Deb goes, yes, my wife and I were watching the first episode, and we were like, "Oh my, she's gonna get on people's nerves." And yeah, she can be, I guess, a little annoying, but you're right about it being great TV. Um, she gives a good. I don't know if she means for them to be funny. I don't think she means for them to be funny. She just gives these either what she's saying, she can make fire, but she never really delivers on that. She just kind of struggles around giving the wrong advice on how to do it. The whole even the episode 2, the water thing. um, I can't see her lasting the full 39 days if she's going to be drinking the water like that the whole time. I mean,
Oh yeah, it reminded me of the way it brought back memories of how in Panama, the Kasai were really they were struggling in getting water, and Bruce came up with a supposedly great water filtration system, and I mean, nothing happened to any of them. Well, something did happen to Bruce, but
yeah,
nothing happened to them in terms of drinking the water. Debbie, I don't know. And I think I've noticed more. I mean, even name dropping here now, Mario Lanza. I mean, just reading some of his stuff and listening to what he's been saying, and just after coming out of college, one of the things I realized that I really, really like are characters, and Survivor has had plenty of them, and it's come to the point where, I mean, with the newer seasons, we know how they're going to get fire, how they're going to make shelter. So all they have to fall back on are the characters and the strategy. And it feels like it's falling a little bit too much on the strategy on average. But these two episodes have introduced the characters, I think, very well.
yeah, and it really
And
is. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, just I mean, I just love characters in general. I try and have ever since Kagayan, I always try to pick the favorite character. Since these are all seasons with new people, I'd have to say for Kagayan, I really liked Cass, San Juan del Sur. I really liked Keith. Worlds Apart, I'd have to say Jen. I mean, they're good at finding. I mean, whatever they're doing with casting newbies, if they're recruits or pulled off the streets, or if they're applicants, they're pretty good choices.
Yeah. I can't actually in Kagyan. I can't actually say I like Cass in Kagyan. I couldn't understand why. I couldn't pinpoint why I didn't like her in Kagyan, and I think it's because I actually like Spencer in Kagyan, even though he was more like, but everybody called him the game bot. But I actually love her in Cambodia, where she actually explains the reason why she was very I guess a chaotic. It was because she went there and everybody was playing the game. Whereas in Cambodia, she's like she had trouble adjusting to the the aspect of everybody liking each other, everybody not wanting to be playing 100% of the time. And I think I like that because she actually ended up showing some growth, which not everybody ended up within Cambodia. This season, yeah, I can't really say there's someone that really stands out for me in the Brains tribe. I do like Neil. I do like him. Uh, I guess I had to see a little bit more of them to really see who if there's anybody else that stands out for me. And you're,
Based,
go
mhm.
ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Based on pre-show interviews, I mean, there's a couple of others I like on the. I think there are a couple of others I like on the brain. I did like Aubrey. I think she's a legit fan. I think she may have mentioned Greg Buis somewhere in her bio. So if somebody mentions a name like that, then you know they're a fan.
Yes.
They're a
Yes.
real fan, and which I will get back to when I talk about Darnell, because he brought up somebody very, very interesting. And Joe, coming from, I mean, at his age, I mean, he's the oldest to go out there since Rudy, and we had a little bit more time to know him last night's episode. As far as everybody else, yeah, it's a pretty good tribe, and so far they've been able to, I mean, win both the challenges.
And
So
yeah, we'll see here. Now, one thing you talked about right before, right off the bat, was how Jeff is not actually calling them by their tribe names. And um, I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I asked my wife, "Did you notice they didn't call them by their names?" And I don't know. I don't know if there's a real reason other than I really don't know. I'm not even trying to guess as far as why they're not giving them their tribe names. Because at the beginning, normally you see that they gave them brains. You are Chanlo, or whoever you are, which is different at the beginning of the episode of the first season. I mean, sorry, the first episode. So another thing that was different was that we didn't get an introduction to the location, but most likely because it was going to be pretty much the same thing from Cambodia, since it's the same location, they probably just decided to skip it. Felt more like a classic marooning, the way they did it,
yeah. Hmm.
and I actually like that a lot. Uh, so yeah, big. I think that was a big points for the season premiere of season 32.
Hmm.
So let's talk about the Braun tribe.
Uh,
Um,
they would be Totong, I think.
yes,
And,
Totong.
oh, the Braun tribe. Remember commenting in the live thread that I host on previously on Survivor Facebook group. Once they lost that second challenge, I just said, so this is like Bizarro uh, Kagayan here. I mean, this is the opposite here. And I think it's been established that it's going to be hard to see any of these four people win the game
Yeah,
because they're
well,
getting the social part wrong. I don't know.
Jeff Warner came out and said that the Bronze tribe is actually at the old Angkor tribe, where actually it's the opposite way around, right? The Angkor ended up being where the Bronze tribe was. But if that's the case, when it looks like that, we've already been told from Cambodia that the Angkor tribe, or in this case the Bronze tribe, um, their beach is horrible. They had trouble finding food. They had trouble just pretty much doing anything there. Do you have any more insights on that?
I was hearing the similar comments, except I heard otherwise. Somebody before coming into this, just for the listeners to know, I was a part of David Johnson's Survivor Showdowns, and at some point we were talking about our favorite moment in the first episode of the new season. And at some point, somebody mentioned about one of the tribes having the same beach as Angkor, and that it turned out to be the Beauty tribe. But I guess it makes more sense with the Brawn tribe since they've been losing the last two challenges.
Yeah. Jeff Warner actually said it was the Braun tribe that had it, and I don't know. It seems it makes sense to me that it would be them since yeah, like you said. I mean, their camp doesn't look as nice as the Brains tribe or the Beauty tribe. I think the Beauty tribe is on the old or the I guess the future Bayon tribe um, beach, and the Brains is on Takeo.
Uh,
So yeah, anybody from the Braun tribe that stands out to you that you like, that you liked before these first two episodes?
well, I think Darnell left way too soon. I thought he would be a great character. I think there was a lot of potential with him. I had him in my as one of the people I liked. He had his pre-show interview was hilarious, and then I went on to look at his profile. Now, for the profiles, I don't know how long they've been doing this. Probably, uh, I don't know, probably for a couple of seasons, probably 5 years more or less. They always ask the contestants, which survivor are you most like? And the answer to that question should be that you're not like any of them. You're going to be your own person. But people still go on with the thing, with the question, and they'll say the obvious answers with people who have played more than once. They'll say, "Oh, I'm Rupert. I'm Boston Robin Parvati." With Darnell, he listed a few. He said, "I do have a bit of Boston Rob, but I also have some Sean Rector." And once I just stopped right there. Okay, this guy knows who Sean Rector is. So I was bummed to see him go. So I think he could have been a good character. But there are plenty of other characters left in the season. In terms of the other people on the Braun tribe, I did like Sydney and her pre-show interview. They haven't shown a lot of her. I don't think she got any. Probably like one confessional last night. Is she's pretty different from pretty unique. I liked how, or it should have some people concerned. At one point, she said in her video that she's a Georgia girl with multiple or with alter egos.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, we haven't seen anything weird with her. I mean, she's still on her tribe for the time being, but see if she gets any more camera time.
Do you buy that, or is it something that she said just to have something to say?
No, I think she has potential. I don't know why she threw it out there. If she threw it out there, then I guess it shows that she's got a bit of a sense of humor, or I don't know. Uh, who else? Looking down the list here. What's next here? Yeah, most of the people on I'm noticing this now. A lot of them are in the OK and 50/50 chart of my journal here. I think Scott seems like a nice enough guy, but in terms of television, there's nothing going on. There's
He's
nothing going
he's gonna be
on.
that straight out to keep the strong, or we would think at least keep the strong and get rid of the weak. But it hasn't really turned out for him that way because he has voted out or voted for Alicia twice, and
Mhm.
it just hasn't gone his way. So if it ever were for him, I think it'd be Alicia and Jenny both out, and he would have kept Darnell, um, Jason, and Sydney in the tribe.
Mhm.
So yeah, what do you think about Kyle Jason?
He was going to be the next one I was going to go to here. Kyle Jason, the guy. I mean, during the first episode, I had for every season of Survivor, I have everybody's name down on a printed Word document, and then I just keep track of which number they go in. Okay, so Darnell's the first one out. Okay, so I put a number one next to him, and then just makes it easier to remember all their names. And have it memorized later on. So I had on my list for the Braun tribe, I had the name Kyle, and they kept calling him Jason.
Yeah, I'm.
And it turns out to be his last name. So,
Yeah, that's one thing is how did Jeff decide to give him or go by his last name already? I mean, it takes some players two three times or at least a couple of visits to tribal council, and he was calling him Jason from the get go.
or unless you're Cochrane and you just ask to be called Cochrane,
True,
then it's the exception.
that is true.
But
But
uh,
he gave him slack for that though. He said you have to earn that. So I mean, and I think he gave it to him right almost a couple episodes in, anyways. But he gave Jason right away.
mhm.
But
But with him, uh, I don't know. One thing that really it's turned a lot of people the wrong way, or just thinking that, okay, this guy's just another jerk or whatever, is with his question, which survivor do you think you're most like? He said that he thinks that he picked Russell, and he thinks that he's the only person to have played correctly. Now, or we discussing in the groups, okay, well, maybe he's just, trying to be a troll, probably just throwing like a wild card answer there just to make people upset. Or does he really believe that Russell's the only one who played correctly? And judging by the first two episodes, I'm thinking that he probably thinks that Russell should have won, or has played correctly. And I mean, the guy already doesn't have a very good social game. He refuses to call Alicia by her name instead of just calling her Blondie. I mean,
and
just pick up on everything that Russell did wrong. Just like right from the bat when you rewatch the season, he refers to the alliances he has with the girls his dumbass girl alliance.
hmm
And you can know from right there that he has no respect for women, and it should not come as any surprise that he doesn't win in the end. So I don't know about Jason here, but just judging by the camera time we've been given, he's probably going to be in there for a while.
yeah, he was one of those people that I wasn't sure if I was gonna like or not. Um, I don't dislike him, but I don't. I'm not. He's not one of my favorites at all. Scott, I really like Scott, but he's not gonna be. For at least for right now, he didn't show he's gonna be one of those strategic players. Which is why it sucks that Darnell was voted out because I don't know if you pay attention to his post interviews.
No, I didn't really listen to the post interviews.
Okay, well, in on Twitter, Jason actually said about Darnell that the reason that he was actually voted out was because he was too liked by everybody else, and that he was actually working with trying to work with everybody. So they needed to get him out, and that's why he kept Alicia, because Alicia is one of those girls that or people that you can just get rid of next time. And and this is what I tell my wife is that sometimes you want that person, sometimes that ends up biting you in the behind, which is what happened to Russell. So let's say Jason does make it to the end, and he goes against Alicia. It would be ironic if something happens to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't know for sure if that's what happened. I mean, that's his.
That's the whole thing. That say the post show interviews or exit interviews are what Fishback calls them fan fiction. We don't really know if that's what happened. That's just what they say happened.
Right.
So yeah, what did you think about what Jen with the bug in the ear?
That was good editing from the the editing team there. That was very well shot.
Yeah,
Segment. Just seeing the bug come out of the ear was, I mean, having watched Survivor for a long time, I think that's up there as probably one of the most real things there. And I was also hearing, also in the showdown, um, somebody argued that that was the best moment in that episode. And supposedly, the medical team's not allowed to go or check on anybody unless it's a life or death situation. And with her, I guess it wasn't.
yeah, that's one thing my wife was asking, because my wife is not a Survivor watcher. She just started watching it with me, but she was asking, why is it medical going out? I go, it's either they have to be in a life or death situation, or they have to specifically request it. And if they specifically request it, I think they might end up pulling them if they can't do anything about it. So someone would rather just go through the pain. Although on Twitter, Jeff said that medical did go out. They put some solution in her ear, and the bug came out. They just didn't make the cut in the edit. So I think Jeff was getting a lot of slack as far as why didn't medical go out to save or to help Jen, and he just pretty much, they did go out. They just cut it out of the episode.
No, they should have. If that did happen, I think they should have kept it in there instead of just uh, making it look like that it just somehow came out of her ear. I mean, they should have probably shown that.
Yeah, I think the reason they did that is because of what happened in the second episode. I think they just wanted to give her yeah. I think they wanted to give us a false sense of what's going to happen with her, because after she went through all that, and after she came back for the immunity and actually performed pretty well. And from what I was seeing on previously on Survivor and all, people were really thinking she was going to make it further than she did. So I think it was one of those red herrings that they didn't show medical go out there so she can seem a little bit stronger, so that we can get surprised when she gets eliminated in episode 2.
I can understand that. Yeah, I didn't. I did not see that coming. With her just flipping out.
Okay.
And the last person would be Alicia.
Alicia, what do you think of Alicia so far?
Well, I thought, well, I would have rather her go rather than Darnell. But last night uh, she did improve. She was able to make fire, even if it took 5 hours. I loved the editing that they showed elapsed hours as if it were a endurance challenge. I think the fact that she's still there, well, she's doing something right.
Yeah.
So, and I just the one thing that stuck out of my mind, which sort of probably, I guess, somehow after the tie, I just thought, well, maybe Alicia's going to stay. There was one confessional that she gave about how she's traveled all over the world, or was with tigers, or went to Thailand with tigers, or something like that. Like, she's got all this world experience. Like, if she ends up winning, that's a good that
Well,
she can stand heads or whatever, something like that.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really like her the first episode. She kind of seemed clueless. This at the end of the second episode, like, I don't know if I like her, but I disliked her a bit less. She made it. Like I said, it's one of those people that you allow to get through. You let them. You don't vote them out because you think you can control them, and in the end, it bites you in the butt. So, yeah.
And the thing that frustrated, I think it was her who said it, when they were debating on who should go. Um, she said something that would make any old school Survivor fan very upset. Uh, in saying just, this, she said something about this game is all about big moves, which,
Sounded like Jeff.
yeah, just, that's not really what it's all about. I mean, again, what I said about the whole natural progression of the show is that it's focusing more on the strategy because that's what people are probably interested in. Then you go on the groups and Facebook and whatnot, and then you realize that, wow, I actually do like the character scenes and I like all the other things. And yeah, some of the strategy talk is a little over the top. But yeah, just that one small complaint that she said it was about big moves. The big part of the Survivor game is that if Survivor is about anything, it's about how it's a social experiment. If you take a couple people on an island, they're all strangers, and then you just see, it's how people perceive you.
Okay, so we're back here. We had a little bit of break. We were able to get my co-host Mark on the line here. Mark, like I said, we already started the podcast with Aaron here, and we've been talking about episode 1 and 2 of season 32, Kaoh Rong. What do you think of the Brains tribe, the Brawn tribe in total?
Well, the brain tribe is where we usually have the smart yet odd personalities, which is normal. Debbie seems to be the star of the show on that tribe, or she's trying to. Joe's been getting a lot of good buzz before the season started, and I'm interested to see what he's gonna do, when he's gonna blow, and what he's gonna do strategically. I think that's gonna interest a lot of people. He have you guys talked about how he's currently tied for the oldest survivor to play the game?
Yes, yes. Aaron brought that up, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long has it been since we've actually had an older survivor, not in their 60s, in their actual 70s or so forth?
It's been since Rudy, really.
Yeah,
That was season 7.
They're putting him as 72 on his profile, but
mhm.
I think he was 71 when they filmed it. I think they go with the age that they are now
Yeah.
and when they are now. So he would be uh, on the island. He would probably be tied with Rudy. But then again, Rudy went back for All Stars at I think 75.
Yeah.
So I still think Rudy's probably he'd probably be the answer for the oldest person to have ever played. But,
So between Rudy and him, who was the oldest between or second oldest or third oldest? I guess would be the correct thing. It's because it's been a while since we had a really older person in Survivor.
According to some other podcasts, I think Rudy has it by a couple of months.
Yeah. Okay, so anyone that you that you really like on the Brain Strike, Mark?
On the Brains Tribe, I have my eyes on Joe and Peter.
And I'm just waiting for Peter, like you said, to blow up. He seems a lot crankier in episode 2 than he did in the
it's hilarious.
yeah.
Ready to blow.
Yeah, I'm like, man, he seems a little bit different from the first time. But I mean, a couple of days out there in Survivor might do that to you either way, even if you're not old. So
Yeah. Does Debbie have 30 or 40 cats? I think she has 40 cats. I'm pretty sure she has 40 cats.
yeah, Peter's confession.
Yeah,
That was great.
about Peter.
No,
Good confessional there.
no. What I like the one thing I forgot to bring up when we're talking about the Brain Strike. Peter had talked about Deb, about possibly getting rid of her, but then he's like, "Do you really want to get rid of somebody who is not going to be talking strategy to everybody else?" that might be the person you want to bring on because later on you can still work with her. She's not going to be working behind your back. So I mean, he did have some sort of strategy talk there. Other than that, Aaron said, he's more of the going off of the being the Obama lookalike.
There aren't any clear-cut lines yet, right, on the Brains Tribe?
Well, they had the old versus the younger people, but it wasn't really something that like, oh, I dislike you, I hate you, or whatever. I think it's gonna happen next episode though. Okay, Mark. So what do you think about the Braun tribe?
Okay, so obviously Scott is the leader there of his alliance. Although right now it seems to be in a little bit of flux as to where things stand. Alicia, which was kind of surprising to me, just kind of sprung up to attention. And I think she's gonna do pretty well. She might not have the physical abilities in terms of challenges, but she can definitely talk her way out of a hole real quick.
And Aaron and I were talking about how she's that person that Jason's actually just kind of stringing along because he thinks that he can control her, even though he's really annoyed with her. And then that's kind of the person you don't want to take to the next to the merge or to the tribe swap because she can probably be the one that's going to end up being your undoing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did we miss anything, Aaron?
No, not really.
What do you think of the rest of the tribe, Mark?
The rest of the Brown tribe?
Yes.
I mean, as much as they've got a whole lot of airtime in the first couple episodes because of their tribal councils, none of them really do a whole lot for me, honestly. Yeah.
I think Aaron and I were both on the same side as far as the one person on that tribe that we really would have wanted to see more is Darnell, and he was the first one out.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah. So we're talking about the beauty tribe, and the one person
Yes.
that I don't watch Big Brother. I don't know if you watch Big Brother, Aaron, but Mark is a Big Brother fan, and I didn't know who Caleb was. What were your thoughts coming in, Mark?
Um, Caleb on his other show was pretty he was pretty obnoxious. I mean, he was single when he did Big Brother, and there was a single girl in the house he had his eye on, and then he became this uber stalker. And so he was oblivious to the fact that she wasn't reciprocating his feelings, and then he like completely traumatized this girl.
Are you a fan of Big Brother, Aaron?
No, I don't watch Big Brother. I did consider watching it at one point, but then once I saw how many episodes there are for each season, I just thought, no. But no, I don't watch Big Brother, and I didn't know who he was
Prior.
before then. I mean, I knew at least who Hayden was when I first heard that he was going to be on the cast because I thought, oh, I've seen him before in reality videos or at charity events, like in videos for charity events. And I heard that he was dating Kat. So
Hayden,
I mean,
yeah,
with Caleb,
not
I
anymore.
So yeah, as far as this tribe, the beauty tribe, is there anybody that you like or you thought you were gonna like to begin with and you end up not liking, or vice versa, Aaron?
well, I'm looking at the list here. I think it could be a unanimous decision all through the Survivor boards. Ty is a wonderful character. And he lives up to it. From him coming up to that great moment in the first episode. The guy is a gardener, loves trees, and when he wants to go look for an idol, he's ripping trees right out of the ground. It's just a great switcheroo there. Who else here?
What are your thoughts on Ty, Mark?
Ty is just fun. He's you can't help but like the guy. Beside the cringe moment on episode 1, I think everything else he's doing pretty well here. What he can't do strategically or physically, he's gonna make it up in social terms, and I think that's gonna do pretty well for him.
And how about, like, to me, like I said, I didn't know who any of these people were, especially Beast Mode Cowboy or Caleb. I think from the preseason, I like Ty. I wanted to like Nick only because he was a Survivor blogger, as well as being, I think he was a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He seems like a douche to me.
Yeah, I got the same thing here when I wrote the pre-show interviews. I had Nick in my okay column. The 4 columns I have for cast assessments are like, okay. The 50-50 would be meh, MEH, and then dislike. I put Nick on okay for some reason. And I put comments for each of them, just a short comment. I put seems honest and nice, but I think everybody else has picked up that he's probably going to be a hot mess. Although we haven't really seen too much. I don't know if he got any confessionals last episode, but I mean that he got one of the first confessionals of the season in that episode, saying that he was as wrong as it sounds, he's been able to get through life by the way he looks or something. I mean, he's one of those guys. Yeah, and I want to mention about Ty. One of the things that cracked me up, aside, we can talk about him and Caleb later, but the one thing that cracked me up before the first commercial break was that Ty was trying to find the idol again. And the guy is he seems like a really sweet guy. He just wants to do his best, and he's coming to the point where he can't climb the trees. I mean, at first I was a little bit disgusted by, that the guy is trying so hard, his feet are bleeding to just go up this tree. And then he said something that made me crack up. He said something like, Jeff is making me try too hard.
Oh, what did he say? Jeff is really testing me.
Yeah, Jeff is testing it. What makes him think that Jeff is doing is making all these clues or whatever? He's the host of the show. He's executive now, but it's just funny that he thinks that Jeff's, toying with everybody there. That cracked me up.
Do any of you really, both of you, I don't have a sense of what the girls are doing other than I really don't have anything coming from the girls. How about you, Mark? How about you, Aaron?
Well, Anna, I had her in my okay column, and she only had 2 confessionals in the first episode. She really didn't get to talk, I think, at all in the next episode. She seems a bit promising. I think a little bit. She comes off as a very strategic sort of a player, wants to play because of the strategy. I should also share something that Probe said in his cast assessment video, which I thought was just had me going, really? He said something to the degree of he wouldn't want to have her as a girlfriend or something like. or something as
What?
inane or stupid as that because she's a poker player or something like that, or that she would probably flirt with women, or I don't know, but we haven't seen too much of Anna. Liz, I mean, not Liz, Michelle. Uh, I really didn't know what to make of her from her pre-show interview because if I could sum up her pre-show interview in one word or one character, it would be Harry Potter. That's all she ever talked about in her pre-show interview.
Oh.
At least that's what I felt. She just kept talking about Harry Potter. Even in her biography, she listed Harry Potter as an influence.
Wait, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Michelle.
Michelle. Okay.
Oh.
And so far in the show, I mean, she commented on the Ty and Caleb relationship, but other than that, nothing else. I think Julia, I mean, she's getting not a lot of confessionals, but I mean, people are a little bit frustrated in her being in the season, given that she's 18, and there are people who have been trying to get on the show for so long, and this 18-year-old gets on. But I think she's a legit fan.
Yeah.
I find that she's a legit fan, and I would like to see more of her than maybe Anna and Michelle.
Yeah, I definitely like it when we have a wider range in ages rather than like it's once again like going back to Cambodia. They were all with bunched up and pretty much in age wise. They had a couple that were a little bit older, but I like it when you have the young person, you have the medium, and then of course we have the older people, and Joe and Deb and even Ty. So I like this mix right there. So Mark, so far, this tribe, I think we said it. I think we all three of us said it that the one that we dislike is Nick. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, him and Caleb to a certain degree, although the chemistry between him and Ty, that whole little scene was nice to have. And I mean, I think some people would easily compare it to Richard and Rudy, with Rudy having no idea that Richard was gay until Richard told him all that he was, and he thought that Richard was, the homosexual is by far the most, the nicest, one of the nicest people I ever met. Completely changed his mind, and everybody, including Mark Burnett, he thought that was one of the greatest things one of the most amazing things that he saw as in the social experiment of that first season was, retired, this 70-something-year-old retired Navy SEAL becoming friends with a gay man. And that's, one of the great Survivor, duos there. I don't know if we can compare it to Ty and Caleb. It's only been a couple episode, but I was surprised that Caleb wasn't as hostile. I mean, if you've watched his video, there's a video of him going on about, he's okay with gay people, but just doesn't approve of their lifestyle or something like that. I think if what we've seen with him and Ty, I think if Ty could just change his mind, that could be a good character growth for him.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this, Mark. Like you said, you know him from Big Brother. In these first two episodes, how do you feel he's coming off?
To everybody that has seen Caleb on Big Brother, these first two episodes came up as a real pleasant surprise. And people's minds are changing about this guy. And there's been a lot of buzz online as to how people are starting to change their feelings about Caleb. Because this is a very different Caleb than the one we saw in the Big Brother house. The one in the Big Brother house just jumping around all the time, and he made right at the very beginning of the game, made a 9-people alliance out of 16 people. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And he had no plan B after that. That was it. That was his game move. But to see this different side of Caleb, and it's I'm starting to like it. I'm starting to like this guy a little bit more, and I know preseason, I said he's probably gonna be pre-merge. But this Caleb and Ty thing might do them some good. So I'm keeping my eyes on Caleb.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know Big Brother, so I didn't know who Caleb was. And this season, I didn't go into the preseason information that was released for each person. Usually with the newbie cast, I like to go into the season with a clean slate without knowing anything from them about him. But everything that I saw on social media about Caleb, I was like, okay, I'm gonna dislike this guy. But I don't dislike him as much as I thought I was gonna dislike him. And I don't really read that. In reality, I don't dislike him. So far, he is one of the people that I've actually liked. And even Rachel, who joined us for a couple shows last season, she was like, "No, you're not gonna make me like Caleb." So, so yeah, so she has some knowledge of Caleb and from Big Brother at least, and I really think that they're what they call it, the bromance. I think it is gonna be it might actually turn into an actual alliance. Because I really do think they like each other, and that's one of the things that I think helped Survivor in the beginning. It was like what Aaron said. It was Richard and Rudy. This whole thing of people from different lifestyles coming together and interacting with each other. People who would normally never hang out with each other, never talk to each other, never do go even do anything. Coming together and getting to know each other and coming back as friends. I think that this kind of goes back, and that's what I was talking to Aaron earlier. That I feel this season, even going down to the challenges, seems more like an old school season. The challenges seem a little bit more longer, seem a little bit more like the challenges they used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah. So any last words on the Beauty Tribe?
Well, the only thing I could say about Caleb is that that scene alone, I could see. I mean, if that's built upon, I could probably like the guy. I mean, I also went into the season thinking that the guy's a jerk, but I mean, it's always I mean, there have been people that have gone, or I think pre-show, I have them all the way at the dislike section, and then funny enough, two of them ended up winning. Those two people would be Tony. I thought he was. I didn't know what to think of him.
Yeah.
But then I thought he did not have a chance at winning. I thought that when it was him and Wu, I thought, okay, this is going to be pretty close, probably 5-4. And no, it was almost a landslide. So he proved me wrong. And on the rewatch, he's a lot more fun to watch, Tony.
Yeah.
The other person is Natalie. Just because I think together, the Twinnies, I mean, some people may find them, hard to watch. But given that Natalie was on her own most of the time, and she had that great underdog story, had me rooting for her in the end. And now when I do watch videos of them, the Twinnies, I don't watch The Amazing Race, but now when I watch them, I think they're hilarious.
They were super clashy on The Amazing Race, both seasons. Oh my gosh. They were very cringeworthy. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's definitely, when I watched them on The Amazing Race, it wasn't. I really couldn't stand when they were on camera, and it was really it is when they're both together. I think they were okay separate, but I really do like Natalie as the winner of Son Juan del Sur. She did go from being the first one to have their loved one gone, to being the sole survivor. And then the way she just hung in there, to the very end, and she was one of the people that I was like, oh no, she's not, I can't believe she's on Survivor, and changed my mind. I really like her. Even yeah, you're right. Even Tony, yeah, he was one of those people that watching the show during that season, I didn't like him. But in the rewatch, it's a difference. You get a little bit different perspective of these people once you've seen them play. And actually, I am not one of the people who hate on Russell. Although I disagree with him and him thinking that the game is flawed. He even though he did everything that he knows how to do to get to the end, he really needs to know and appreciate that there is a social aspect to the game. It's not just the strategy part. It's not just the making the big moves. You need to treat people right. You can't just run over them and bulldoze them. Just like the way he did.
Yeah, the example I like to use, I mean, Russell, it's funny how so many people have compared him. How everybody's been talking about Russell when he's only been on the show since 2009. It's kind of crazy. But the example that I love to use, people were comparing Tony to Russell when Kaoh Rong was on, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
But here's an example I like to use to show how different they are outside of Survivor. During Heroes versus Villains, there was a news report about Russell being he was arrested for domestic assault. I think he attacked a woman or something like that.
Wow.
That was all during when Heroes versus Villains aired. Okay. With Kaoh Rong, when that aired, Tony saved a man's life.
Yeah, he ran into a burning building, right, or burning house.
There was a guy that was having a heart attack, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
And so Tony can save a life. Russell, I don't think the Hanses are going to be on the show anymore.
No.
I mean, they were banned from the Kaoh Rong reunion, and I don't think we're going to see them again.
Yeah, I think they're all banned from CBS. I think. Because even I think it didn't one of the cousins or brothers come out of Big Brother, Mark?
Willie.
Yeah, and I think even he's banned, right?
Oh yeah. Hella banned.
Yeah. So yeah.
And to think that Russell was a suggestion by, of all people, Boo from Fiji.
Really?
That's what I heard. That he was suggested. I think I may have read Russell was possibly gonna be cast for the show Pirate Master, which was a Mark Burnett show.
Yeah, I do remember hearing that.
But Boo ended up suggesting Russell, so that's what I say in these. Is Russell good, or does Russell suck, or does he not? Well, in the end, thanks a lot, Boo. just thanks a lot for 3 seasons of him.
All right, so we've talked about all the tribes. We've talked about episode 1, episode 2, here and there. What was your guys' favorite moment of the first 2 episodes, Mark?
Favorite moment in the first 2 episodes. Oh, the second tribal council. That was just crazy. What Jennifer did was just spectacularly. I don't even know how to describe it. It was epic fail to the highest degree. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything that outrageous in years.
Yeah,
You can just bury yourself.
Yeah,
so deep.
I was really hoping that it was not going to be her, that it was going to be Alicia. But as soon as she opened her mouth, I'm like, oh, she's gone. She's gone.
Yeah.
What did you think about that, Aaron?
I was getting a little bit. I didn't initially pick up on what she had said because I think I may have been. The sound might have been obscured by something, or I may have spoken over it or whatever of what she said. But once they repeated it, I thought, she's probably going. And when she got up, I was getting a little scared. But nope, she's just going to stand on her stool.
Now, as far as that tribal council, I myself had never seen at least an edit of the tribal council where Jeff was just like, whoa. Like he wasn't leading anything on. It was all just coming from Jen and from the rest of the tribe. It didn't seem that he had to really ask for much, or he didn't really have to dig for more information. It was all volunteered.
I think in the recent seasons, and I think other people have pointed this out too, with Jeff, when there's some sort of crazy tribal council, he'll just go, wow, this is a great tribal council. I mean, you don't need to tell us, Jeff. We can just decide for ourselves, what are the great tribal councils. But I think this would go up there as definitely a highlight, especially so early into the game. And just seeing Alicia, get through it again.
I kind of liked her little smile at the end. She's like, "Yeah, I made it through." Like I said, I didn't. Not that I like her now. I just like her a little bit less. And maybe I don't know. Maybe she might grow on me. I don't know. So how about you, Aaron? What was your favorite moment of the first 2 episodes?
Well, in the Survivor Showdowns I was on, I was asked to give my favorite moment of the first episode, and I picked Ty, the gardener, tree lover, then but hidden immunity idols. That's the one exception. Now, if he's going to go ahead and rip them all through. Him saying that Jeff was testing him was pretty funny. I mean, I like the Ty and Caleb scene. I think some of the stuff that Debbie was doing in the second episode, we sort of saw her do it in the beginning of the episode. And then what I'm talking about is her cheerleading.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's just going to go on. It's just, if she's, just leave her on there so we can have something to fall back on if it's, gets too strategy. If there's too much strategy talk, we can fall back on that.
Yeah, I think for myself, I have 2, at least 2. In the first episode, I actually like Darnell's where he decides to go take the aqua dump, and he's everyone's ragging on him because he decided not to go further out, and he's pretty much in everybody's view when he's trying to take his number 2 there. And of course, the Caleb and Ty thing in episode 2, I really like their. I really think it's starting to become a friendship, even if they're not trying to make it a budding friendship. I really think it is becoming something that they really like each other. So overall, guys, final things about the season predictions. What do you guys think is going to happen throughout the season?
Well, one thing that I've noticed or that I've been hearing is that Jeff's been sort of downplaying this season. So, I don't know. I'm liking it already. If he's downplaying it, I mean, some of us are joking in the groups. Okay, well, if he's downplaying it, that means either he doesn't like it or a woman wins. So it's going to be either one of those. It's going to be either one of those two. But one of the reasons why I liked just as long, if Jeff isn't happy, then I'm probably going to be happy. Like, Jeremy ended up winning Cambodia. I don't think he cared for San Juan del Sur.
Yeah, that was one of those things, and I actually picked Jeremy as our winner for Cambodia in our preseason picks, and I thought it was funny that the season that Jeff thinks is one of the worst, they actually had three of the final five.
Ethan Wentworth,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
yeah, three of the final five. So, three of the final four, right? No, final five. Um, so yeah, I don't know why Jeff is downplaying this one. I don't know. From what I heard, he's downplaying it just because of the reaction that Cambodia got. That he doesn't feel like this is gonna live up to it. But I actually really like the season already.
And he also went out to say in some interview, I just read him say that he was asked what his favorite season was, and he said Cambodia was.
Yeah.
There was a thing that he did, which I wish he would do again, just so we can bust his balls again. He did it twice. He would rank the seasons. Now, the last time he did this was shortly before Heroes vs. Villains aired. And it was on Entertainment Weekly that he did it. So I would be interested in how he would rank, 11 seasons. 11 more seasons of Survivor. But, it's been said to be this is going to be the gruelest or the hardest season of Survivor. I accidentally found out how many medevacs are going to be in this season, so I won't.
Oh, no.
Don't
say anything.
I will not say anything. But I'm liking it. I'm liking it so far, and with any luck, it'll stay consistent.
And Mark, what predictions for the season?
Just from some of the vignettes we've seen before the season started, I think we're gonna get a lot of medevacs, which might be the reason why Jeff isn't a fan of this season. It's just they had to have too many medevacs, or / parentheses quits maybe, I don't know. But there was, I think he did an emergency insertion of the All-Star season because he wasn't a big fan of this season. That's just my wild guess, because this season was taped to be aired last fall, according to schedule, but they did second chance, and then they just shoved it right in there before they aired this season. So our expectations are supposed to be low for this season. I think because of that, right now we're finding it to be a little better than we expected. Depending on how things go in the next few episodes, I think it will really set the tone for the rest of the season. And so the next couple episodes will be the ones to watch.
It might be the opposite of what happened with Worlds Apart, where Jeff said, "Oh, this is like the best season ever." And a lot of the fans, from what I remember hearing, even though they liked Worlds Apart, it wasn't one of their favorites. So we might be getting the opposite effect here, where he's not hyping it, he's not, and we're all loving it. Or it's just maybe Jeff is not as in tune with the community as we think he might be.
Yeah, this season was filmed before Cambodia, which has been mentioned. But I think they're doing it because if they had the All-Star, if they did Second Chance as season 32, then you're voting for these people. And if they had done it the other way around, okay, this is your cast. You're going to see them in 2016. That would have been a little bit weird. You expect to see them in the next season.
Yeah, I think some of the hype and some of the reactions for Cambodia was that we were able to vote for them, that we were able to not only to vote for them, but that they pretty much went out on location within a week of the finale of Worlds Apart. So, but you never know. I don't know. Was Cambodia the way it is, like Second Chance, supposed to be in that spot? Were we? Because if I believe it would have been enough time, right? For if we would have seen Kaoh Rong at the end, we get the voting or whatever. I believe there would have been enough time for them to do all the editing and so forth for this to be 32, for Cambodia to be 32.
And I think, I mean, I had a big problem with them airing them out of order, because I just thought, well, then that means that cast is going to be waiting almost a whole year for their season to air, and then what number winner is this winner of Second Chance going to be? Is he going to be 32 or 31 technically?
Yeah.
Just like little things like that. But no, I think the winner is declared when the votes are read live. So
yeah,
for me is winner number 31, and the 30th different winner. So yeah, I think my other thought was that I think they filmed the 2 seasons already, just so they could see how people receive it, and then they can know where they want to go for 33 and 34.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're running long on time here. Let's see if we can pick a winner. Does anybody have a winner already in their mind, or at least a favorite to win? How about you, Aaron?
Well, from character, I mean, Ty would be a very entertaining winner. And I try to root for a lot of people, so that I'm not disappointed by the person who wins in the end. But even if I am disappointed with the winner, like with Jeremy, I mean, I never really liked him in San Juan del Sur. I thought he was very, I don't know, not a very good sport, and I still thought that in Cambodia. But Final Tribal Council, he admitted to all what he did in the game, while Spencer just said he had feelings, and Tasha kept complimenting herself. You know, Jeremy knew who he was and what he was going to do. So you know what? You win. All right. But in terms of a winner pick, I mean, I'm just going to say I think Ty would be an amazing winner. I mean, I do like Neil, even though we haven't seen a lot of him. I think, I mean, Probst has hinted that something to the degree that he thinks that Neil is smarter than he thinks he is, or something like that. That there's something, or if it's a character he's playing, or if it's just his real self, or something like that. So either one of those two. I wouldn't mind a female winning either. So,
how about you, Mark?
Sorry, my call got dropped for a second. Who was Aaron's pick?
Aaron said Ty or Neil, okay. Or even he said he wouldn't mind a female, but I don't think the female other than Deb have been developed so far as much as I would like.
Yeah, well, it's only been the first 2 episodes, so there's plenty of time to develop them. So.
Maybe they might be getting a Sophie G. Clark edit.
So, Mark, who do you think, or who do you have as your favorite to win?
I'm definitely rooting for Ty, but I don't, at this rate, I'm not sure how long he's gonna last. I'm gonna surprise you guys with Peter. He seems to have the strategic chops, and he's not going out of his way to try to annoy people. He can just kind of slip comfortably undercover for as long as possible, and he's not even like the physical the big physical threats that some of the other guys are, like Caleb and Scott and or maybe Nick. So I think Peter can just coast right through, even post merge, and he's going to have time to develop some sub alliances. So I think Peter's going to do pretty well.
Okay, so for myself, my favorite as well it would be Ty, but I don't think he's gonna pull it off. Um, I'm gonna actually go with Caleb, and the only reason I'm doing that is because I really think
Wow.
his relationship with Ty is gonna turn people to really like him. Also, there was a something that Jeff said that he was gonna go surprise everybody the way he performed in the season. Um, he might go out next week. I don't know, but let's see. We'll see how that plans out. But yeah,
Yeah. You know you're dead to Rachel right now, right?
what do? Oh yeah, yeah. Rachel doesn't like him, but we'll see. Yeah, that's episode 1 and 2. We'll go ahead and I'm hoping episode 3 continues this high mark of the season, or I hope every episode becomes a high mark of the season because I really like this new season already. And
Who do you think is next to go?
um, I kind of feel Braun's gonna go again. I think Braun is the brains. Well, no, because the brains went 3 of the first 4, so someone went in there. So unless this Braun team is worse than the original brain stream, but you know what? Being that they're at that awful beach, I kind of feel that they're gonna go again, and unfortunately, Alicia would be the next one to go.
Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Aaron?
I was just thinking, could Alicia just be the JT of this of this season? If she just that would be I would get very suspicious if she goes fourth.
She hasn't peed in anything or dumped anything yet, so I mean that's a good sign, I think.
She's probably between her and JT.